Are you ready to do this for the 100th time?
You bet your sweet ass I am. Hello and welcome to the 100th episode of Hardly Working, the podcast about life, love, and labor, hosted by the couple that works, plays, and stays together. I'm Kellie.
And I'm SP.
And is it 100?
100 episodes. We've got balloons. We've got party hats. We've got these obnoxious things that go...
Last time, promise done.
Promise. But we had to do it. You knew we had to do it because not only is this another episode, another week of my favorite podcast, but it is the 100th episode of Hardly Working. Whether you're jumping on right now, which would be weird, or you've been with us since the beginning, or somewhere in the middle, thank you for being here on the journey. Thanks for being a part of the Hardly Working fam. Kellie, you've got some... What did you bring?
I'm having fun. You know, I got these little shot glass or like little martini shot glass necklaces. But you haven't been drinking for over 100 days.
116 by the time we shoot this?
And so instead of filling them with little shots of alcohol, I thought I fill them with little shots of
John F. Kennedy?
Of some of our favorite candies.
This is a 50-cent piece.
The Jewish gelt.
It's a 50-cent piece.
I know.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Dink it and sink it.
Put it on your head.
Which we can't drink chocolate coins. But
gosh.
if you could,
you would.
We would.
But be ready. Oh, mine fell. Be ready for me to fill this up throughout the day, throughout the podcast.
Like you're at Mardi Gras or something?
Yeah. I'm going to say
can't get it
cups
on.
up.
Cups up.
But starting with the Jewish gelt, 2 50-cent pieces. Sorry.
Is that not John F. Kennedy? Am I crazy? I think he's on the 50-cent piece. Let's go with that.
It might be John F. Kennedy. It looks like him.
I think so. Well, we've got our hats, we've got our poppers, our balloons, and our little martini glasses.
You took your hat off.
Yeah, I don't look good
I'll
in
take
little
my
hats
hat
like
off.
that. But if you're just listening, just imagine we still have them on.
Oh, God.
This is a very special day. It is not only the 100th episode, it is the final episode of season 6 of Hardly Working.
Woo!
And since it is our 100th episode and the last episode before Hardly Holidays,
Yeah.
so much happening. We do have an announcement to make. Before.
I have an announcement.
Tell me your announcement. You sound like Galinda.
Yeah, that's exactly what she does.
All right. You want to talk about the announcement?
We have an announcement. We are officially, we've talked about this a lot.
We're pulling the trigger on it.
We are officially pulling the trigger on it. We will be starting a brand new, well, it's not brand new. We will be separating our podcast. So right now we do Hardly Working and Hardly Working Through It. Guess what? Hardly Working Through It is moving to its own channel.
Mm-hmm. It is getting its own dedicated podcast. It will no longer be a part of Hardly Working. It'll have its own thing. Separate podcast. And we'll tell you how to get there.
There's lots of reasons for that. The biggest reason is, this is not the biggest reason, but it'll get there, is this podcast is technically a family-friendly podcast. So we're trying to talk about family-friendly things. We don't try to bring in things that are uncomfortable or awkward or weird, or, if your kid happened to listen to it, they'd be cool to listen to it. Hardly Working Through It is something that, as we've done it, we've realized is something that we really want to be able to share more about what we're working through, what we're going through, some of our past trauma, some of the things we're working through with our therapists, and just be more honest, raw, and genuine to who we are without having to, what's the word I'm looking for? Censor
ourselves.
And so that will be an explicit channel, not because necessarily we're going to become sailors and curse.
We kind of will as well.
But mostly because we just want to be able to talk about things in a place, and we understand that Hardly Working and Hardly Working Through It are two very different things that shouldn't be for everyone or the same people.
Yes.
Does that make sense? Did
Absolutely.
I do that well?
Yeah.
I did that poorly.
Very, very well, as usual. So Hardly Working Through It is going to be getting its own dedicated podcast called Hardly Working Through It. It is not a part of Hardly Working anymore, so you'll have to subscribe if you're interested to the new podcast, which is technically up and live right now. All the episodes of Hardly Working Through It that we have done are up on that podcast right now. You're welcome to check it out. But I will tell you, especially moms and dads who happen to be our moms and dads, this show just might not be for you.
And that's okay.
And that's
Truly.
okay. Yeah, we talked about it, and there's lots of things that we want to talk about on that show in an unfiltered and uncensored version and way, and that's what it's going to be. So if you've enjoyed Hardly Working Through It so far, I bet you're going to enjoy the bigger, better, bigger version of that show.
Hardly Working Through It.
Or Hardly Working Through it. Either way, that's what's coming up here in the new year. You're going to be able to check that out, put your eyeballs and ear holes on it, and we're very excited about it. You seem to be up to something over there.
I'm having a great time. It's episode 100.
It's episode
Cups
100. Cups up. Ooh, are you pouring stuff into my cup?
I am.
Wow. These are Cheetos snow cheese balls in my martini glass.
Sorry, it's a little holiday themed. But they are white cheddar Cheetos.
Okay, nothing wrong with that.
I was like, how are they?
They are delicious, and I'm having a great time.
I tried to pick some of your favorite things.
You're awesome. I hope everyone likes crunching on microphone. Historically,
well,
everyone
these are
likes
good.
mouth noises. I know. I might have to put these over here.
Putting my cup up.
So what do we have in store for us for the 100th episode other than announcements like that and drinking snacks out of small glasses? Well, of course
Glad you asked.
I'm glad I asked. We have a totally normal show with a look back on things that we have done, talked about, and etc. in the past. Watch me stall as I open up my show notes for today. Before we get into a few things in the past, it was your birthday this week, Cal.
It was my birthday.
And you had a great birthday.
I had an amazing birthday.
Give me a couple highlights, just a couple.
Went to Din Tai Fung. Loved Din Tai Fung. It's a win-win every single time. Had 2 different types of tiramisu. That's also a win every single time. Got to make dinner, which was nice for myself. Went to the spa. Got an 1.5 hour long massage.
Yeah, you did.
The best thing.
Mm-hmm.
Got a couple Legos, which I've built some of them. Also the best thing.
I think you've built no less than 3 full Legos this weekend.
I think no.
Dynamite
didn't finish
BTS
it.
one. That's almost done. There's 1 bag left. Christmas wreath.
Christmas wreath, which is super fun.
And then one
The Glinda.
Wicked.
The Wicked, or it's Wicked. It's the bedroom, the loathing
deal.
scene.
That's 3.
I didn't finish BTS. I'll finish it today though.
Yeah, you will.
But yeah, that was fun. But Din Tai Fung was fun. It was with a bunch of friends at Din Tai Fung. We ended up getting lucky and getting like the private room, which you have to book for a certain amount of money, and I didn't, and we got it, which is great.
It was
I
freaking
cried.
awesome.
I laughed.
Cried
I drank.
some more.
I cried some more. I laughed some more.
Lots of happy tears.
Became
for
friends
you.
with the wait staff, who the servers who loved us and who we loved them. It was
They
great.
came in to thank us at the end of it, which was very sweet. They're like, "You guys are the best."
Yeah, we have good friends.
We have a good group of people. It's very cool. And I know we've talked about it, but it is so cool. I want to say it on air. A year ago this time, you were like, how do you make friends in your 30s? And a year later, you're like, look at these amazing quality people I have in my life.
I know.
So congratulations.
Thanks.
As they say, your vibe attracts your tribe. You've got a great tribe.
Which
and
means I have a good vibe.
And it explains why I have no tribe. Because I have no vibe.
You're pretty cool. You have a good vibe.
You got enough vibes for the 2 of us.
Well, thanks,
We're
babe.
vibing it out. The other thing that happened this week is we put to the test a brand new 360-degree photo activation.
That is true. We
really
are going to
cool.
be posting a video of us over on our Instagram. So go check it. Yeah. Gosh, we say that all the time, but I mean it this time.
And
like
also,
I mean it. I'm going to post it.
Maybe check us out on either Instagram or TikTok at It's Hardly Working, but
If
maybe
TikTok's
not
still
TikTok because
around.
who knows? I guess all of a sudden it's back to being taken out. Who knows? Not like we didn't build a whole little thing over there. But
It's okay.
We had a great time with the 360. So excited for the possibilities we're going to have with that. It's going to be a good time.
I mean, you can check me out at Bumblebee and BL Booth. But
is,
that doesn't matter because right now we're talking about a podcast. It's 100th episode. And what do you have for me? I know you have something for me. I have something for you, but I have more than something.
It's like
I
a
have
gift of the
this.
Magi over here. I'll get you a hairbrush.
Do
but
you want a
cut
snack
off your
before you
hair.
go into this now that we finished this first snack?
Sure, I'll have another
Do you want
snack.
sweet or savory?
Sweet, because I just had savory.
Okay, cups up.
Cups up. Pouring into the cup now are Christmas mini M&Ms or M&M minis. Wow.
right.
The
Cheers.
problem, cheers. Dink it and sink it. The problem with having this wrapped around your neck is you can't put it down until it's empty. So I'm going to put mine down here because someone's got to hold the reins of this show.
I'm holding the reins.
It has been
The reins of
over.
these M&Ms.
Yeah, you are. Today's show is a little bit of a look back as well as a normal show. Looking back at over 100 episodes, over a year worth of episodes. Did you know 95% of podcasts never make it to 100 episodes?
Yeah.
So we are in the top 5%.
Woo, woo, woo.
Happy to be here, happy to exist, and happy that you guys are listening. But I do have some things that I had forgotten used to be a part of the show that have no longer made it this far. And some of those I want to
Fun
highlight.
facts with Kellie.
One of them is Fun Facts with Kellie. Do you remember Fun Facts with Kellie?
I didn't do it all the time, only sometimes.
Sometimes it
Remember
was
those
great.
pants?
Sometimes it was great. Let's take a look at a throwback to one of our Fun Facts with Kellie.
I'm here. I got more fun facts.
Really?
Just one. Did you know that in New York, they have their own species of ant for a 14 block radius? Like for 14
Do you
blocks,
remember
it's
this?
one type
Yeah, I
of
do.
ant.
Okay.
Do you want to know what it's called?
Yes.
Manhattans.
Manhattans?
Manhattans.
Not Manantons?
No. Manhattans. Hat-ants.
Why would we cut such a great segment?
I don't know. Shut it. It was a great segment.
It was a great segment.
Maybe I'll bring it back in 2025.
You know what? Maybe. Fun Facts with Kellie. There were some other iconic things that happened
ready.
that we've forgotten about. Things that, dare I say, we might even have updates on. Well, you may remember some of our earliest discoveries were about people doing crazy things, like this guy who decided to buy or acquire a few million frog eggs and populate his personal
Oh my
apartment
gosh.
pond with them. Check out this clip of our frog king. This was on TikTok.
He filmed it.
This dude
yeah.
was like, I acquired, it was either 2 or 3
It
million,
was 2 million.
frog eggs.
Yep.
And he put them in this little pond that was, I mean, it's real
Tiny,
small.
handmade.
And they all started hatching and they turned into tadpoles and then started turning into these teeny
Yep.
frogs. And then all of a sudden there was certainly not millions. I'm sure they didn't all survive,
Yeah.
but thousands of
You
frogs.
change a whole ecosystem by doing that.
Yes,
It's crazy.
which is hilarious, but also maybe detrimental.
Maybe detrimental. Turns out that was our first clip to get any type of traction from the
yeah,
show.
and it became eco-terrorism.
It did. We didn't know.
But we did later.
We did later
Not us, him.
when the comment section of our YouTube clip told us about this being eco-terrorism, which
Had no
still
idea.
seems a bit strong.
No, he messed with the ecosystem.
Yes, but does that qualify as terror?
Yes. To the animals that live in that ecosystem, to that the frogs then change like the habitat and how they are, and the ecosystem is what it's called.
But hilarious.
No.
Can't take that away. Well, this dude did get his TikTok taken down and did have some, I'm assuming, whatever the frog version of PETA is, which I think is PETA, have come after him. And
frog
we
version
don't
of
know
PETA.
what's happened with him. But that was our first clip to actually get some traction. And I remember how excited we were. It was 12,000 views on YouTube.
Yeah.
And we were like, whoa. That's more than ever. And some people think it's hilarious, and some people are really mean. It was
Yeah.
our first taste of internet
Trolls.
vitriol. Yeah. That was a benchmark for us. 12,000 views. Now I think our highest clip on YouTube is at like around or just short of 2 million views. So we've come a long way since then. And of course, TikTok even more so. But boy, it was a weird and wild time during all of that.
Weird and wacky wild time.
Weird, wacky, and wild.
Do you have another clip for me?
I have so many clips, but I have put them in different parts of the shows as we talk about things like stories, clips for stories, and et cetera, et cetera, et
All
cetera.
right.
But this would traditionally be where we go into That Happened Today.
Not today.
What? Not today.
Not today, because today we're talking about what happened 100 years ago this
What?
year.
Oh, not today,
Not
but 100
today.
years ago. Is that in celebration of the 100th episode?
What do you think?
I think Kellie came prepared. Well, hit me with it then.
Okay.
I truly have no
Do you
idea.
want a snack?
I'm
You
still
haven't even
working on my
finished your
M&Ms.
snack.
Someone's got to talk about the show.
I know I got lots of snacks.
I'm thinking I'm okay with my M&Ms. You do your 100 years, and I'll snack on these M&Ms.
Okay. 10 things that turn 100 in 2024.
Yes.
The first one,
Are you going to give me clues or just tell me?
I don't know. What do you want?
Hit me with the first one.
The first one, Dum Dums.
The lollipops?
The lollipop.
Nah, that's whack. Those can go away.
Akron Candy Company in Bellevue, Ohio created Dum Dum lollipops in 1924.
Wow.
And then they were bought by Spangler Candy, and they produced 84 million Dum Dums in its first year. The original 7 flavors, hold
Yeah,
on. The original
okay.
7 flavors of Dum Dums were lemon, lime, orange, coconut pineapple, cherry, grape, and butterscotch.
Okay, butterscotch, yes. Coconut, pineapple, or whatever, fun. Why is everything else basically citrus? We've got
Because
lemon
it's easy.
and lime
Because
and
it's
orange.
easy.
Yeah.
And the reason that they called it Dum Dums because it was easy for kids to remember and say.
You know what? The branding is good, but it does reflect the brand itself.
Dum
And
Dums.
if Dum Dums went away, I wouldn't care. Happy 100 years, Dum Dums.
Happy 100 years. Other things, Kleenex.
The brand?
The brand Kleenex were initially advertised by Kimberly Clark as a marvelous new way to remove cold cream. So it wasn't even for your nose; it was for
Cold
wiping
cream?
stuff off, like like you put cold cream on your face and stuff.
Like,
Actually, I think cold cream might be for shaving, but I don't know. 100 years ago, who knows?
Thanks, Kimberly.
When they were introduced to stores on June 12th, 1924, according to the company's website, the name Kleenex, that's what they were meant for. But the name Kleenex later became synonymous with the word tissue, which we know today, because we'll be like, did you pick up any Kleenex? But we really just saying, did you pick up any tissues?
Yeah.
Because I actually like Puffs more than I like Kleenex.
Is that different? Yes. Kleenex was the first item ever that I realized I had been using a brand name to describe a type of thing. In the same way that we're like, I don't know, Google it. When you really mean like look it up.
Yeah.
Like I need a Kleenex was easier than I need a tissue.
There's other things too, but I can't think about what they are.
That was just the first one that I realized that corporate brand name.
Actually, there's another one
Got me.
in here that I think we'll get to.
Hit me.
But it's not this one. Another thing that happened 100 years ago this year, the first ever Winter Olympics
Oh, for real?
was held in Chamonix, France.
You know what? Nailed it. First try.
Held in France. Around 10,000 spectators attended the first Winter Olympics Games to watch events such as ice hockey, figure skating, curling, and ski jumping.
Wow. Winter Olympic sports.
I'm just looking at things that happened 100 years ago.
Dang.
Okay, this is the one that I'm like, this is another one of those things. It's like Kleenex that we use it as like a brand name. Ready-to-use Band-Aids.
What was the option before? Not ready to use? Like build your own Band-Aids?
So ready-to-use Band-Aids first appeared in stores in 1924. The first Band-Aids, which appeared in stores in 1921, were
years
long
earlier.
strips measuring 3 by 18 inches that needed to be cut into smaller bandages.
Ugh,
But in
this is like poverty era
1924,
stuff.
Johnson & Johnson debuted the first mass-produced ready-to-use Band-Aids in individual wrappers. Thanks,
That's
Johnson &
awesome.
Johnson.
Thanks, JJ. Not so much for the vaccine because that seemed to be the worst of them. But you know what? Thanks for that
Band-Aids.
too. Thanks for trying. And thanks for Band-Aids. You're right, though. I didn't even know what to call a Band-Aid if not a Band-Aid.
Yeah,
I guess
no.
it's just a bandage.
Yeah, but like even now, like we buy Welly. Like I like Welly Band-Aids.
Not a
But they're
sponsor.
Band-Aids.
Yeah. Bandages.
But then there's Band-Aid brand. I don't really know.
Who knows?
It's very odd. Iodized salt.
Is that table salt?
Table salt. Iodized salt was first sold at grocery stores in Michigan, and which was in an area where residents experienced iodine deficiency, according to the scientific journal Nutrients. Iodine, a necessary nutrient for thyroid hormone production, is now added to salt in around 120 countries. But it was first introduced here in Michigan. Isn't that crazy?
So we had salt, but not
An
iodized
iodized
salt. I was like, I think we've been using salt to preserve food for
Yes,
thousands
but
of
iodized
years.
salt.
That makes more sense. Thanks, salt. I get to play the role that you play.
Salt. This one you won't care about, but is interesting. 100
Great.
years ago this year is when the first ever Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade started. Ever.
Really?
It celebrated the opening of its flagship store on 34th Street in New York City, spanning 1 million square feet. The parade marched 6 miles from Harlem to the Macy's store in Herald Square and included floats of Little Red Riding Hood and animals from the Central Park Zoo.
Wow. I wonder if they called it the Thanksgiving Day Parade on December 18th. Probably not. It was probably just the
Well, it wasn't
Macy's
100 years
parade.
ago today. It
Oh,
was 100
you're right.
years ago.
You're right. But you know what? It may have been 100 years ago the day we did,
Thanksgiving.
because I think we talked about that on the show.
Yeah.
The first ever one.
So,
Dang.
but it's 100 years old. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, time to move on.
This is a good one because I
Not
think
from your game, but from parades.
these next two I think are good things for us.
Okay.
First, popsicles were invented.
Hell yeah, brother.
Well, they were invented in 1905 by 11-year-old Frank Epperson, who accidentally left a cup of soda with a stirring stick out in the cold overnight and discovered a new frozen treat. He patented his invention, which he initially called an Epsicle in 1924. According to the Popsicles official website, Epperson's children called them Popsicles, and the name Popsicle stuck.
Because it was dad's treat?
Yeah.
Yeah, Epsicle sounds too much like testicles.
I know, I was like-
so he's like, I invented frozen water on a stick, and then he waited like 20 years to patent it?
Because he probably had to figure out how do you do that outside of just putting a cup outside with a stick in it.
Or how to get a patent. Like,
Yeah.
life before the internet must have
But
been more complicated.
Thanks for Popsicles.
Thanks, Popsicles. Thanks, Epicles.
I don't know. And then this one kind of goes hand in hand, but in 1924, Clarence Birdseye invented a quick freezing method to bring frozen food to the masses.
Oh, what is it? Is it
He literally created the patent of how you like
Flash freeze
food.
Yeah. Do you know why they did that? Because just freezing the vegetables and stuff to be frozen vegetables mess them, like damage them on a molecular level, so they didn't have
any nutrients.
Yeah, as much nutrients. And the flash freezing like keeps the nutrients in there. So thanks, flash freezing.
Oh. Thanks, flash freezing. I thought I deleted my whole app. I was like, I'm not done yet.
How many more do you have?
One. This is the last one. So 10 things that happened 100 years ago.
Oh, great.
I mean, eat your M&Ms or get rid of them because I got more stuff.
Bottoms up. Dink it.
And sink it. Last one. This one is fun.
Okay, this is like 35 M&Ms I just put in my mouth.
Metro Goldwyn Mayer, also known as MGM Studios, was founded 100 years ago in 1924.
I can't eat this many M&Ms.
Then throw them away. Louis B. Mayer merged his theater company with Metro Pictures Corporation and Goldwyn Pictures Corporation to form the Hollywood studio powerhouse, Metro Goldwyn Mayer, or MGM. MGM went on to produce and distribute iconic films such as Gone with the Wind.
What?
Singing in the Rain.
Are you kidding me?
And one that is very much in the zeitgeist right now, The Wizard of Oz.
Oh, yeah.
And it also says, and such contemporary hits as Legally Blonde.
Yeah, you know, gotta have that in there.
But I was like, wow, thanks 100 years ago.
Thanks 100 years ago. We have worked with many MGM things over the years.
Have we?
Yeah, you know what? I always thought Louis B. Mayer was just a made-up comedy name, and it was hysterical to me to hear you say that. Are you going to put more candy in my body? I just ate 85 M&Ms.
Yes, but I won't put as many. But this is your favorite.
I do like Milk Duds.
Cups
Although
up.
since I have a cracked tooth, I don't think I'll be eating a Milk Dud.
Oh.
But thank you for thinking of me.
Away.
Also, since we mentioned the cracked tooth, guess who's getting a root canal?
This guy.
Because I have a cracked tooth. Let me just say this. If you're in your 20s, if you're in your 30s, if you're any age at all, putting off going to the dentist is almost always the wrong choice.
Wrong choice.
It's one of those things in life where you need someone on a podcast to tell you, do it before you need to do it.
6 months ago,
You'll wish you had done it today. Speaking of things that happened today, ending our That Happened Today / 100 years ago, a couple birthdays. In fact, not just a couple, so many birthdays. Wow, that's a lot of Doritos in my martini glass now.
You're welcome. You said you didn't want candy, so.
It's perfect. This is for all of our audio listeners. You're welcome. Kellie, you know what it's like to have a birthday so close to Christmas.
I do. It sucks.
It sucks. It would be even harder, though, if your birthday wasn't the 12th, but it was the 18th. Just like Brad Pitt, whose birthday it is today, Steven Spielberg, Christina Aguilera, Billie Eilish,
A lot of celebrities.
Katie Holmes, Sia, Stone Cold Steve Austin. What?
Do we like him still?
Stone Cold? Yeah, it's not Hulk.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Stone Cold's cool. Ashley Benson from Pretty Little Liars, Bridget Mendler from Good Luck Charlie, and Keith Richards, co-founder and guitarist of the Rolling Stones. Lots of people getting born very close to Christmas, which probably means Valentine's Day babies.
I don't know.
Is that right?
My therapist is having her baby on the 23rd.
Wow. TMI. I feel like we can't talk about your therapist baby. It's client privilege, right?
No.
No? I don't know how it works.
I only have 2 more treats. So
Thank God, because if you keep feeding me, I might die.
That's part of the 100th episode.
Part of the 100th episode. I'll tell you what else is part of the 100th episode. Same thing that's been a part of every episode since the very beginning. We have always had stories. But some of my favorite stories have not been from me. They've been from you when you've surprised me with not only fun stories, not only funny stories, but also stories that gross me the heck out. Just like this first one from years ago.
Okay.
And by years, I mean last year.
Have you ever heard the story about
God, I remember
a
this.
guy who was at the gym and he was working out and all of a sudden, I think he either went to the bathroom to change or something like that, and there was some white string like coming out or attached to his nipple, and he started to pull it.
I was in shock.
And it was a nerve, and he had to go to the hospital, and I think he tried to cut it off at some point too. It's kind of crazy. Have you never heard that story?
Does it seem like I've heard that story?
Isn't it gross?
That's the grossest thing
He
I've
just
ever
kept
heard.
pulling it. He really just thought, I don't know what he thought it was coming out of his body, but he kept doing.
Yeah, I reacted the same way today in this chair as I saw myself react
That is
in the
hysterical.
video. Nerve coming out of your nipple. Do you remember that story?
I told it. I remember.
gross.
What I'm really learning is that I am happy to have my bangs right now because my hair looked really weird when I was curling it.
That is the curse of having a video podcast because you gotta look at.
Do you like my hair better now or then?
I like it better now. No, I mean I like that hair too. What's wrong with that hair?
I don't know.
You still look good. That wasn't the only weird story that's come up.
I told another one about spiders in someone's foot.
Oh, well.
So not this one. Do you remember they laid eggs in the toe?
Well, you mean like, let me skip
skip
forward
ahead.
to
It's
this
okay.
one?
It turns out that they had missed a spider egg in his toe.
Oh my gosh.
And so they had to cut his toe open again and remove the spider, which had luckily been killed by antibiotics, but it was a stinking spider in his toe. He took 4 weeks of antibiotics, guys. So however long it took for the spider to die, it hatched and grew. It was like a spider, and then it finally died. He asked if he could take it home. They told him no.
What?
But that's my toe spider.
That was another. Most of your stories are gross.
Yeah.
But I appreciate
Here for the
them.
shock value.
Not all of my stories
Speaking
are
of
gross.
stories, I'm just kidding. I don't have any.
But I did have some weird ones as well. Just like this one from one of our earliest episodes about a poor woman just trying to get on a lawnmower.
Do you have a story?
A lawnmower.
A
Is that what I
lawnmower?
said?
A lawnmower?
A lawnmower and mow her
A
lawn.
lawnmower.
But she wasn't expecting what happened next.
What happened today?
The headline is, "Help me, Jesus."
Oh
Snake falls out of sky, lands on woman, then both get attacked by a hawk.
What? That was a ridiculous, crazy story.
Yeah, and instead of playing the whole clip, that was a clip where this poor lady was literally just mowing her lawn on one of those like motorized lawnmowers, like an actual tractor kind of lawnmower, and a snake truly falls out of the sky, lands on her, wraps itself around her arm, and then if that wasn't bad enough, if you're not freaking out by then, a hawk swoops down to grab the snake because that's the thing that dropped it, falling right out of the sky. And so this poor lady's like, "Oh my God, there's a snake!" And this is like, "And now there's a hawk." I believe I showed you the photo on the actual episode because this hawk like tore up her poor arm too.
I know. I remember this. And didn't it fall from a plane? Am I crazy?
I believe that the hawk was carrying the snake in its talons.
And it came back down. I was like, what happened to this? I don't remember. I do have a story.
There are some honorable mentions that I didn't put in here. Italian man dies under wheel of cheese. That was part of it.
That wasn't funny to laugh. I'm so
It wasn't,
sorry.
except for the fact that he was a cheesemaker. And it's kind of the most honorable way to die as a cheesemaker.
I was trying to get that cheese wheel and it just fell right on him.
Other stories that didn't make the cut but were fun. A flooded Italian street flooded with red wine.
Red wine.
Can't really remember what happened there. Or the guy who drove his car into the front of a jewelry store. That was pretty great. Lots of fun stuff.
Well, I got a heartwarming story if we're going into stories.
Is it a new story?
It's a brand new story.
Tell me your heartwarming story.
But because we are 100 episodes in and because it was more than 100 days ago that we saw Taylor Swift in concert. Way more than that.
It was August of last year, and there were some clips that didn't make the cut from that episode.
I thought, but one of those episodes, I had my bracelets on, my friendship bracelets, some of my favorite ones from the concert that I went to.
Yeah.
But I thought this was a sweet story if I can figure out what I went with it. Oh, no.
Sweet story about friendship bracelets.
It wasn't about friendship bracelets, but what happened? What did I do?
I'll tell you what. While you pull that up, you want me to jump into our first story that is a new story for the week?
I found it. It's a new story. And then you can jump into yours. I want to read my story because I'm very excited about it. You're not going to like it.
I was just trying to save your life out here.
I know. Listen, do you remember when I told you that at some point early on in the Eras tour, one of Taylor Swift's heels broke off?
Oh, how could I forget?
Mid-concert, she ripped it off and threw it out into the crowd. And so she had one heel on. Do you remember that really?
Not at all, no.
So her shoes are Louis Vuittons.
Louboutins?
Louis Vuitton.
Is that different?
They're the ones with the red heels.
Is Louboutin different than Louis Vuitton?
Yes.
I knew that.
Yes, they are. They're very different. Listen, there was a guy this was in Brazil or Rio de Janeiro. Is that Brazil?
Same place.
That's what I thought. His name is Felipe Coronado. He is a dedicated Taylor Swift fan. He went to the Eras tour after finding out that his cousin Angela, who was 37, was diagnosed with cancer. That's not why he went. He's a huge Taylor Swift fan, but he went to the concert.
He's like, fine, I'll go.
But it was a big...
Just because you're dying.
But he did it. it was the third and final Eras tour in Rio, which Rio had
was bad news.
was bad news bears. But during the concert, he caught the part of Taylor Swift's shoe that ripped off. Like when she threw it, he caught it. He had it. So he decided, you know what? I caught this. This is really special, but I'm going to see how much I can sell it for so I can help to pay for my cousin's cancer treatment.
That's what I was thinking too.
I know. Because they couldn't afford to pay for it.
They could afford tickets to the Eras tour.
Yeah. Now, months later,
yeah,
he tells people that his cousin has completed her treatment in September.
Hey.
Thanks to a donation by Christian Louis Vuitton, and he got to keep the bottom half of the shoe.
Wow.
What a fun, like, little thing.
I should have known Taylor Swift wasn't going to be the hero in this story. But surprised that Christian Louis Vuitton, what is his name? Whatever. He's the hero.
I know, but isn't that
pretty
sweet?
Cool. Is she cancer free? Is that
she completed her treatment in September.
Amazing.
And he also gets to keep that part of like being a fan. And I know it's a stupid dumb thing because you don't like Taylor Swift. I get it, but I was like, how cool is it that this guy went to a concert and caught this part of the shoe, and then people care about Taylor Swift so much that Christian Louis Vuitton was like, no, keep that, and we will pay for your cousin's cancer treatment.
I will say, I do not dislike Taylor Swift. I dislike Taylor Swift's fans.
Oh, so me.
And I dislike her music, but only because it's not for me, not because it's not perfectly for her audience. But I do not like her fans. That's a cute story, but did you see the other Taylor Swift story that she donated like $150 million in bonuses to her crew from the tour?
$187 million, yeah.
Not to be too specific. $187 million. How much money do you have to make to give that much money in bonuses? Yeah, she's a bazillionaire, isn't she?
But also, every time that she went to a city too, she would donate to the local food banks and different things like that. She also went and visited like a children's cancer hospital,
like the Marvel people do,
the day before her birthday, just to like go and this, which is her birthday, on my birthday. She went to the children's hospitals and like went and met with a bunch of kids and sent them presents the day after. I was like,
pretty cool.
What a cool thing. And here's the deal. You don't have to like her. You don't have to love her. You don't have to do any of those things. You can't deny though that she has to be somewhat of a good person if she's giving bonuses to her team and if she's giving back to communities that she's in, and she's not making a big deal about it. It's not like she's being like, make sure everybody knows how much I donated to this local food bank. She's just like doing it.
Yeah, she's pretty cool. Can't deny it. That's all good stuff.
So cool. Use your powers for good. I love it.
That is the moral of the whole podcast.
Give me your stories and eat your chips.
Oh yeah, my chips. You should have reminded me about the chips when I wasn't about to tell you about a story. I'll get them. What's the worst part about buying a car?
The money, paying for it.
All of it. All of it's terrible.
The haggling. I'm like, I don't want to haggle. Just give me a car.
Yeah, aren't we done with car dealerships and haggling and all that stuff? Not. Like, but that doesn't make sense in this day and age. No. And thankfully, that's no longer a feeling that I have. It is now becoming a reality because you can now buy cars, brand new cars, make, model, and trim that you desire from Amazon.
No.
From Amazon.
Don't trust it.
So far, it's only one brand, and it's Hyundai.
Nope.
Excuse me, Hyundai, which I will never buy a Hyundai.
I'm out.
For no other reason other than I had a terrible experience at a gig with that company years ago. Not even their fault. Quick story. It was a band gig. I was DJing with the band. No one wanted to come out to dance because there was a casino room in the other room. That's what everyone wanted to do. So we were like trying to get people to dance. No one wanted to. After we did our first song or whatever, where we had someone in the company come up and perform it with us, everyone left. They went to the other room and the whole band left after the first set. And I got to just be essentially an iPod in the casino room for the rest of the time. The whole band left and I just stood there doing background casino music. And this was like early on in my career. It was like 2016 or 17. And I was like, I am never buying a Hyundai. But you can now, if you want to, on Amazon.
Weird.
Hyundai is selling their cars on Amazon. They are planning on putting other cars up there as well. I'm sure this is the direction we're going anyway. But for those of you who are looking for a new Hyundai, Amazon is offering a $2,300 Amazon gift card to anybody who purchases a car on their website before January 10th.
How much are they?
I mean, they're the same prices as a normal car.
Can I sell it afterward? I'll take the $2,300 Amazon gift card and then sell the car.
Well, cars depreciate immediately once you buy them for more than $2,300. So you'd still be losing out on the deal. But anyway, you can also take your car in and get like to an approved place, and they will give you a number that you can trade in your car, and you put that towards your Amazon car. Like, it's all moving that direction. So I think this could be the start of something good. I know there's Carvanas and different things like that, but Amazon is like the most trusted brand in the world, right?
For now.
You seem skeptical about this.
I am.
thought you'd be more excited.
No, I'd never buy a car online. I want to drive it. I want to test it. I want to know that I like it.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
But what if you were buying the new version of your car?
No, I still need to see it.
Dang.
How many versions of my car did we get into? And I was like, I don't like this version. Like different
a lot,
years, different
I
things like
guess.
that. Like I had to see it and know.
Well, hopefully you can buy your next car on Amazon after driving it in a dealership. They did say dealerships will still be, a part of it. It's not like Amazon's buying a bunch of Hyundais.
Of course not.
They're working with the dealerships, but I just thought it was a step in the right direction.
It's pretty cool. It's just not my favorite thing because I want to be in it.
That's how we all felt about pants on Amazon. Now we all order pants on Amazon.
And return them often.
Yes, hopefully the return policy on these cars are just as good. But I bet you they're not. Other things that are happening, I love little inconvenient nuisances. I'm not a big pranks guy, but when it's silly and harmless, I really like it.
Oh, no.
Like when I was younger, I had this book that was like a thing a day challenge, and it was like ridiculous stuff. Stuff like, did you know you can mail a banana if you just put a sticker on it and write an address? And you could. And I did. When I was in college, we mailed bananas.
To who?
To our other dorm friends. Like, it worked, but it didn't go very far. But stuff like that. And one of the things was like, today's challenge is cut out this out of order sign and put it on something. And I did. I went to a Panera and I put it on one of the soda things, and I thought I was so funny. But it was a harmless little prank, and we got to giggle about it. Stuff like that is happening in Oregon as we speak.
Wow.
Have you heard about it?
No.
Have you heard that the Oregon City has to ask people, please stop putting giant googly eyes on public art? It has become
keep going. Keep doing
such
it.
a problem. And it's
It
so
looks so
fun to
great.
do.
Keep going. Keep going. Keep doing it.
So they are taking these huge googly eyes and just putting them on random art pieces
It's
and
perfect.
objects.
It's everything I want.
You know, I had a person I worked with who used to do this, and I always thought it was very funny. They were like the small eyes, but these ones are like giant. They're probably like 6 to 8 inches
It's like mega crafting
across.
eyes.
Yes. I'm for it. I don't think we need to ask people to stop. And they can't arrest them or anything. They're just like, guys,
Not doing
please.
anything wrong.
Please don't.
I like it. I'm here for it. Keep going.
Anyway, so if you have a pair of googly eyes or multiple pairs of googly eyes, start Googling them to things.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Put a little goog in that eye.
Googly.
Googly, great googly moogly, Carl.
Googly.
I've got one more thing for you.
All
And
right.
if children are listening, this is about Santa, so you've been warned. Ho, ho, no. Children in tears after vicar tells them Santa is not real. So apparently,
Where?
I think it's in
Why
the
do you still call them vicars?
It's because it's Catholic. I think that's
Oh,
like
got
a
it.
term in the Catholic Church.
It's like it's just a pastor, isn't it?
So it says during a recent visit to Lee on the Solent Junior School, which is like our junior high out here, this vicar, Reverend Dr. Paul Chamberlain, informed a group of year 6 students, which would be about ages 10 to 11, that Santa Claus is not real. It says this
Jesus
revelation
is.
led to several children becoming visibly upset, with some reportedly crying. Parents expressed their anger and disappointment and accused the vicar of ruining Christmas for their children.
100%.
100%. Now, granted, 10 and 11,
Hey,
that's middle school. Most kids shouldn't think Santa's real
I don't know.
anymore.
That's here, but not necessarily in the UK. Don't they believe in what's the scary one?
The Krampus
Yeah,
or the devil?
or Krampus.
Who doesn't, what, the UK?
Mm-hmm.
I think
Isn't that
Krampus
from
is
them?
like a German or Austrian thing.
Krampus.
Krampus. I don't know. But anyway, we didn't want to be the ones to break it to kids that Santa isn't
No,
real.
no.
But
Our daughter knows, yeah.
She's 9, and she's known for
She's
a
like,
little
I've known
while,
for a while. I just wanted to keep playing along. I'm like, that's cool.
which is very sweet and very kind of
I
her.
don't care. Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, this vicar ruined Christmas for everybody. Sorry, England or wherever this happened.
Goodness gracious.
You know, we've talked about a lot of stories over the year and a half or whatever.
2 years, yeah.
But there's one story that no matter what always sticks with us. When I think of our podcast, I think of one specific thing.
What?
It is the Eggo Waffles
Oh,
Appalachian
yeah.
Sip and Cream
I
brunch.
don't have that, but I wish I would have been able to find it. But you
In
aren't
a
drinking
jar.
anyway, so.
I don't even know if it's out anymore. But if you don't know what we're talking about, Check this out.
Check it out.
A cocktail shouldn't look like this.
Is it boozy?
Yes, it's 40 proof. It's called the Eggo Brunch in a Jar Appalachian Sippin' Cream.
Sippin'.
And the taste is meant to highlight all the flavors found at a typical brunch. Bacon,
Okay.
syrup,
Okay.
butter,
Okay.
and of course, Eggos.
And if it tastes like that moonshine, it probably tastes pretty good.
No, because it doesn't taste like that moonshine. It tastes like bacon, syrup, butter, and Eggo waffles. I'm sorry, are you for this?
No, I'm just curious.
The
Listen,
Eggo waffles, Appalachian Sippin' Cream.
My favorite part about the picture that you showed is that the like garnishes for this Appalachian sipping cream is a little mini Eggo waffle, like the 4 ones that you rip one off, that they probably cooked a little bit and then put on top like a lemon wheel. And what seemed to be maybe a candied piece of bacon.
Yeah, maybe it was
like
a brown sugar bacon or
candied.
something. Yeah, candied bacon.
Yeah, I was like, wow. Like you have to be like, we're having this for breakfast.
It's an event.
Or it's
like
brunch for dinner.
That's what I was thinking. Or brunch.
Or
'cause
brunch,
people
I
drink
guess,
at
yeah.
brunch.
Yeah.
Now, while we never had the pleasure of drinking it, we did have friend of the show, John Homer, find it, post it, send us a video of it. Love you, buddy. Thank you for doing that. But that's the one thing I always think about when I think about stories from our show that define us. The other thing that I think
That's
about.
the only one.
That's it. It's the only thing we've ever talked about. We've always had stories. And the other thing that I'm pretty sure we've always had from day one. Before, yes, essentially. I had more, but yes, unpopular
I'm so
opinions.
sorry.
It's okay, because you know none of this is scripted, and I can just keep going on and on. So sometimes I need you to jump in
That
and be
is
like,
true.
love you.
You mean unpapa pins?
Get
Do you
to
have
it.
any unpapa pins?
I do. But
Okay.
I also have one unpopular opinion that I happened to find. We've been doing this since the beginning. Here's one of the original unpopular opinions. Kelly and I got into it talking about the fan favorite board game Monopoly, how I freaking hate it and think it's so stupid. But Kelly, on the other hand, thinks that it does teach you some significant life skills.
Yeah, we did get it for Brooklyn for Christmas. It's a wicked version.
Here's some of the life skills that Kelly believes the game of Monopoly teaches people.
Yeah, we don't really like Monopoly, but I understand why it could be good for kids. They learn about jail in a safe way.
Monopoly teaches kids about jail.
You get sent to jail. You have to. People can come visit you, but you have to get out. They teach you that life is unfair. Some people can land on a free space and get a ton of money. That's like if your like great grandmother dies and gives you an inheritance.
The game of life more than anything. You just kept going with it,
Wow, I'm
too.
so good. Those are so true.
Like,
It
I
also
stand
teaches you
by
the
it.
value of money.
You're going to keep going on it?
I'm
You're
just saying,
doubling down?
We're about to play it with our child,
know,
and you got to
guys.
pretend to like it.
No.
Yes.
I do. And I will.
You can get sent to jail. That's real. It's fine.
Finally, I'll learn about life.
Yeah, that's right.
in a
You'll learn
safe
about
way.
jail. You have to get out somehow.
All right, girl, what do you have over there?
You
I
got
can
to finish
see.
your freaking Doritos.
Time to finish
It's
the
time for some
Doritos.
unpapa pins, I think. Oh, I have just something nice to. I have 2 more things,
Oh, God.
but I'm just going to end with this, and I'll save the other thing for something different.
Deal.
But I figured we'll save some peppermint crunch junior mints. Like,
Peppermint crunch. There's crunch in it? I'm so sorry that my mouth's full, everybody.
there's crunch on it.
But I got a lot of other great personality things and stuff. That's perfect for me. Thank you.
I just thought it would be
Wow.
a nice little ending. Oh no, mine fell off. That's probably better.
Cheers.
Give me
Well,
a second.
she's not ready.
I'm not.
Wow, what a day.
Okay.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Think it.
Sink it. I just thought it might be nice to have something peppermint fresh.
That is definitely a different flavor than I'm used to for a junior mint. I'm not sure if you actually said that.
What you missed
Candy?
out on was Twix.
Santa's
So,
Twix. I do love Twix. And shout out to Randy, whose favorite candy is Twix, but he probably can't eat it anymore.
sucker. Okay,
Sorry.
unpapa pins.
Yes, absolutely. Let's unpop some pins. Now, one thing that hasn't
this
been
is
here
so
on the show
weird.
forever is the term unpop pins. In fact, you gave me relentless crap about it for a while.
And then I just dove headfirst into it and was like, yeah, unpapa pins. Duh.
And honestly, guys, that might just be the secret to our relationship, is giving each other tremendous amount of crap about something before getting on board. That's how I
We
ended
always
up
are on board.
at the Eras tour, dressed up as patriarchy Ken. I love it.
You know what? You had such a good time with that.
I
With that.
did it for you.
With the F the patriarchy.
That's true.
Ken.
I
Everything
stand
else
by
maybe
it.
not so much, but that you had fun with.
All right, couple unpop pins to pop right here with you to wrap up our 100th episode.
That was me popping the pins.
Monopoly is actually a great game.
Teaches you about life and jail.
First one, being a nice guy isn't actually a disadvantage in life. Do nice guys finish last, Kel?
No.
You don't think so?
No.
I consider myself a nice guy. I hope others would too. And I don't think that I've finished last in my life. Although I have had moments where I've realized, dang, if I was just a big jerk, I definitely would be further along in some places and spaces.
Yeah, here's what I have to say.
Tell
Two
me.
things. The world is changing.
Yes.
So I don't think that the world wants the bad boy. Because the first part of this should have been that media has taught females and people that the bad boy is the guy that you want. Because they're really sweet and kind on the inside. They just come across as a bad boy.
I'm really sweet and kind on the inside.
Okay, no. No.
Some
and
people
no.
call me the sweetest.
Stop it.
A lot of people are saying
It's not this podcast. We're not doing this.
Stay tuned next year for Hardly Working Through It.
Yeah. There'll be a lot of that there. But so that's number one. But number two, I think the world is changing. And I do not think people want mean people in their lives. There was too much mean during COVID. Like, no, everyone was too short with each other. They were not kind. They were not nice. They just wanted what they wanted. Everyone was scared. And you know what? It was totally fair for everyone to act the way that they were acting. Let's talk about, not always. Some people were just mean to be mean. I think that's when someone spit at someone when I worked at Chick-fil-A in the drive-thru.
Personal story.
I was like, cool. Like, you're like trying to like scare us or whatever because like it's COVID season and you're like, I'm so mad that you don't have my chicken sandwich. Haktua.
Spit on that worker.
That's right.
Spit on that
It
team
truly
member.
happened. Sorry, swallowed my own spit. See how that works?
Ew, gross. Too close together, I think.
But I do think that nice guys, we always talk about this being nice and kind. I think that there is a mix of being a nice guy, but a confident guy.
Where do I fall on that?
Right where you need to.
Yeah, baby, that's the right answer.
But anyways, that's my thought. I think being nice and kind is a big part of this because if you're a jerk, most people don't want to work with you.
That's actually true. And I think that's part of the reason that both of our businesses and endeavors have been so successful is because like we've learned that once we've gotten to this certain level of, work, like we're working with actual studios and stuff, not just like private weddings or whatever, actual studios. Those people care so much more about not having to worry about a vendor and being friendly with a vendor than they do about getting the best rate or whatever. So it is really cool that the niceness and friendly nature that we both have has been a big benefit to your business.
Yeah, it's been great.
And to mine too, for sure. How about this? Pico de gallo is an affront to eating. Means it's gross.
I was like, affront?
It's an affront. Here's what they say. I love onions.
no.
I love tomatoes. I love cilantro. Combine them and you get the only thing tasteable in a dish. Did your abuela make an amazing mole sauce? Too bad. Here's pico. Delicious, slow roasted pork or chicken or beef, carefully crafted guac, fresh crema, all ruined by the only thing you can taste now.
I don't agree.
Point.
I don't agree.
It's a fair point, though.
No.
Look, I'm not a tomato guy in general.
You like my pico de gallo.
That's my struggle, is that I do appreciate that, but I don't usually need it. And I do think it dominates all the other flavors.
Here's the deal. I think that pico de gallo is perfect in certain dishes. It's not meant for every dish.
It's
and
a
that
sometimes
is
food.
the realization that I think people need. Chicken quesadilla, have some pico de gallo, have some guacamole.
But we don't always do that.
No.
Guac, yes. If I had to pick, come on.
I know we pick guac, but listen, sometimes it adds a little bit of freshness that you need. You have that fresh onion, it has to be a good tomato, and there has to be salt in your pico de gallo.
Are you one of those? Oh, that's true. Are you one of those weird people at like a Baja Fresh or something? You'll go to like the Pico de Gallo bar and get some of that for, I don't know what people use it for, their chips.
Yes, I do.
Would you eat it at a Mexican restaurant if they're like, here's a bean dip for your chips and here's just another
Pico de
bowl
Gallo.
that has thinly chopped
Yes.
ingredients?
But I like pico de gallo.
But come on.
No.
It dominates the flavor
No,
and
come
takes
on.
over.
No.
It is kind of like putting a sauce on something.
Yeah, it's a salsa. It's
Not
literally.
a salsa. It's not a salsa.
It's a salsa.
Yeah, it's supposed to complement. Not to
It's
take over.
literally supposed to be on top.
It
of
should
your
be
stuff.
a quesadilla featuring pico, not pico featuring quesadilla. Although, to be fair, most sauces and salsas, that's what you're coming for. The chicken finger or the chip, that's just a vehicle to get the sauce to your mouth.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. I like pico de gallo personally. I think it's good. I personally like it when I make it at home, and pardon me, when the tomatoes are good and you have the cilantro, I like it. I'm sorry.
All right. Well,
I disagree. Agree to disagree. You end up, do not pass go. Do not collect $200. Straight to jail.
Dude, what was that TikTok that used to go around? Like, to jail. You sit outside, to jail. You do this, straight to jail. That was it, straight to jail. You don't remember that?
No.
Oh, it was cute. I got a couple more for you. One is, along these same lines. And then one is a bit more serious. I'm not sure how much you're actually going to want to talk about it.
Okay.
But we will get there. Before that one, here's the next. A blanket makes a better pillow than a pillow.
No.
I know in my heart of hearts that is definitively untrue. Yet, here we are living with a 9-year-old who cannot, she
hates pillows. What is it?
Goldilocks. She's like, this one's too hot. This one's too cold. This one's actually, no, it's not good.
Whatever. We went and got her a brand new pillow and she laid on the floor and squeezed the crap out of it for like 20 minutes. I was like, what the heck are you doing?
She's like, I don't know why it's not comfortable.
Yeah, because you freaking... Anyways, I'm not getting any more new pillows. She has like 16 pillows she can choose from.
I've had situations where I've had to use a blanket as a pillow. Have you? Like you're at a summer camp or whatever? Or?
No, but what I have had to use as a pillow are like sweaters and cardigans, stuff like that.
Is that for a nap or for overnight?
No, never for overnight. Like on a plane.
Oh, for sure.
Like on a nap. I don't think I've ever had to do that overnight.
Oh, hopefully not. I think I have at certain camps and stuff. If I've
you didn't know you need to bring a pillow, and then all of a sudden, you're like, dang it.
Well, most camps that I went to as a kid, they had those terrible mattresses, like bunk bed mattresses, like prison mattresses, but they don't give you a pillow.
Jail.
So if I didn't bring straight to jail.
Yeah.
If you didn't bring a pillow, you're out of luck.
SOL.
I also remember the day I realized that you don't have to bring a sleeping bag to camp. Excuse me, I got the hiccups. Sleeping bag to camp.
You just bring bedding.
Yeah.
It's way better.
Game changer.
Yeah.
I also remember camps were the place where I realized I needed a pillow between my legs or I cannot sleep well. So I've always done that, which is also a huge part of the reason why I don't need to go camping or to go to camp or anything ever again.
Just go to hotels. I'm cool with that.
Yeah, I'm cool just sleeping in my own bed.
We can be in nature and then end up at the cabin.
Yeah, you don't have to live in nature.
No.
No, that sounds terrible.
All you weird campers.
Well, here's the one that I wasn't sure how much you want to talk about, but because it was on the tip of our tongues and the topic of conversation for us this weekend, I wanted to throw it by you. Friendship breakups are more damaging than romantic breakups.
Yes.
You agree with that?
I do.
I'll just put my 2 cents here. I don't agree that friendship breakups are more damaging than romantic breakups in general, at least not in my life experience. But I wanted to give you the question, and I think you understand why. Tell me what you think about friendship breakups versus romantic breakups.
Here's the deal. When you look at romantic relationships, I think everyone has an expectation. Like growing up in general, you have the expectation that like you're going to like fall in love and like find your person and then eventually like, get married. But you know that along the way, you're probably going to date people. Mm-hmm. And that, you hear stories from your parents that are like, oh, I was in love with, I was dating this guy and I thought he was going to be the one and then he wasn't. And then I ended up with your father and like, look at us now. So like, there's
or in my case, you have a woman who's like, I was in love with your father, but look at me now.
Yeah. Either way. But do you know what I mean? It's like, you see it in movies too. It's like expected that you will date somebody and have breakups.
So to most relationships, there's an anticipated end because you're supposed to date and break up until you find the right person. Whereas in friendships, there isn't supposed to be an end. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I don't think that that's depicted as much as like, you have a friend and you can fall out of being friends. Nor do I think we talk about it as much as a society because we just go like, yeah, you have friends and that's good. I think that friendship is a deeper bond than a relationship, at least prior to being married or prior to being that
what
point.
Friend are you closer with than you are to me?
Nobody, but we're married and you're my best friend and my husband and all the things in between. So I think it's a little bit, I think we are codependent in many ways. And I think it's also different. But when I look back at I think about like dating and like high school and to college and all that stuff, like, yeah, you were sharing stuff with those people, but there's a lot of like the giddy feelings that you have of like, oh, like I think you're cute and like, oh, he's holding my hand and like, oh, like we're around my friends and we're hanging out. Whereas like you have, when, at least for me, when I think about this in terms of girlfriends, like you have girlfriends that you can bond with in like in an instant. It's not always that way with a significant other, with a boyfriend. You don't necessarily bond right away. You might have like that initial attraction, but you at least for me, in my experience as a female, you can like instantly bond with someone and be like, oh, like I know we're going to get along and this is going to be great.
Yeah.
And you tend to share deeper things with these people because it's girlhood. You're sharing about your deepest, darkest fears or your deepest hurts over not just like one boy, but over many. You're sharing your fears of like actively with the person, maybe about the person that you're with and like the things you're working through. You're talking about your emotional trauma from growing up, whether that be with your parents or your siblings or your church or whatever. But I think that there's just so much that you share with I'm talking about as a girl, with your girlfriends or with your friends, that I think you do eventually share with the person that you're with. But I don't think that that is the intention of the relationship. Does that make sense? Because that's not what we're taught, especially younger. We're not like, it's not like, oh, you like share your deepest, darkest secrets with this person that you're dating. It's like, get to know them and like go on dates and like,
whereas with a friend,
figure out what you guys like and what you guys have in common. Whereas like a friend, it's like you're friends because you already have stuff in common. And so you've gotten all of that awkward, weird stuff out of the way and like you're friends. And so you're jumping into like, let me tell you about my hurts and my trauma and my pain and my healing and all of that stuff. So I do think that hurt is actually worse because I think that there is this feeling of like, man, I shared so much with this person. And that we both were like, yes, like we chose to be around each other. And it's not like, it's emotional, but it's not, the word, only
romantic?
Yeah, the romantic. I was like, the word I have in my mind is the wrong word, but it's not romantic. It's like we're connected on a deeper, different level. And for girls, at least, I think there's like a sisterhood that happens. And so it's almost like losing a family member. And every time that happens, it's like it makes it harder to become friends with someone the next time because you have this thought in your head of like, well, I've been there and shared all this stuff and like gone deep and did that. Like, well, what happens if I do that again? That's why I think when I said it, I think that's why I said making friends in your 30s is difficult because I think you've already experienced hurt and pain and loss in that area. And you're at a very weird time in your life where you're still experiencing hurt and pain and loss in like a weird way as you're like dealing with stuff that maybe you should have dealt with before. And it's hard to bring people into that.
It sounds like you're describing a relationship, though.
Yeah, but think about it. I mean, think about like relationships. Like you and I is very different, but I think that's because, I mean, we're married, we're in a committed relationship, and we are uniquely who we are. I don't know that everyone's like emotional or romantic relationships are like ours. Maybe they are. I have no idea.
For sure. I'm just trying to think. I've definitely had friendships, and I've been really sad or hurt by it, but I don't know if I could think of a friendship ending, which is what I was talking about before, is all friendship. Yeah. I can't think of a friendship ending that has been as damaging or detrimental to me as a relationship ending. Now, of course, the last relationship the real relationship that I had that ended was a marriage, and that's different. A lot. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I can think about people in your life. I'm not going to say their names.
Yeah.
But I can think about one person in particular who, like, you guys really grew up together. I mean, he was older than you, but...
Yeah, for sure. But there's moments where I miss that, but...
But it hurt in the moment. It hurt a lot.
Yeah, but not like a breakup would.
Yeah. Again, I think it's probably different for boys versus girls.
Well, also, I'm so sorry to interrupt.
No, you're okay.
I didn't realize that friendship was over until like a year later.
So you kind of had already worked through maybe some of that.
It wasn't like like in a relationship where it's like, this is done. And you're like, what? That's the new normal now. This friendship for me was more like, dang, I tried to hang out with this person and connect with them, get lunch 6 times over the course of a year. And each time that person bailed on me that morning when I texted to see when they wanted to meet up. Yeah. I was like, here's some truth. I am not good at getting the message when it comes to stuff like that.
Yeah.
When it comes to people trying to subtly push me away.
Yeah, but he was also not being kind. He should have just been like, hey, like I can't get lunch, instead of being like, yeah let's do that. Yeah, let's put it in the calendar.
And I don't think he wasn't being kind overall, but I understand what I think. happened there. But yeah, I didn't get, it wasn't like, oh, we're done. What do I do with this? It was a slow realization. Like, how come he keeps, that was weird. He bailed. How come he keeps bailing 3 times? Let me look back. It's been 6 separate times that I've made these plans that he's bailed on me in a row. And I was like, oh, I get it. And so I don't know, the last thing I sent was probably like, let me know when you're free. And then I never, ever, ever got a text or message.
Just a message to your daughter.
I don't know, 5+ years, 6, 7 years. I haven't heard from this person, except when my daughter sees that person, and that person says,
"Tell your daughter,
tell your dad I miss him." I was like, "You got my number, buddy.
Yeah,
you've got my number."
Yeah, I think there's hurt there that maybe you haven't done all the way. But
I'll tell you what. Let me just throw this in. A lot of this type of stuff that we kind of hold a little bit closer to the chest on Hardly Working are things that we're committed to talking about more forthright on Hardly Working Through It, which is a big part of why we're separating the shows.
Yeah.
Still, we're not going to be like, remember that person? Here's their name. And like, we're still not going to be inappropriate.
Yeah.
But we do feel like at some point, some of this is our story, not just the story that, like trying to protect other people. So if you are interested,
because they're not, other people aren't trying to protect us. So I'm not saying that they're actively doing anything. It's just a realization we came to. Like, we don't have to protect everybody. They're not thinking about us necessarily in that way. We're just people pleasers.
Some people are thinking about you in that way, and they're holding grudges from times like middle school.
I did learn about that this week.
Yeah. I was proud of you for not letting that bother you at all. I really thought it would bother you.
Forget them. I don't care.
Yeah.
Truly. When am I ever going to see him again?
Soon, I'm sure.
I know. I'm sure I'll run into them. And I'll be nice and kind as I always am. I just don't care.
So do nice guys really get the benefit of the doubt, or do we get walked over?
I think you can still be nice and hold your ground.
Yeah.
Let's be clear. Because I can still be nice, but not let my guard down in front of them, or not let them say things or whatever, you know?
Yep. There was a shirt that a writer that I really love, a TV writer named Mark Bernardin, came up with and sold. I can't say it on this show because it's not an explicit show, but it says, "Be humble, but let mother blanks know." It's like, that's kind of it, right? Is be nice and kind, but stand your ground.
Yeah.
I think maybe that's kind of the moral of 100 episodes.
Yeah.
Put out some nice, kind things into the world. Know that people's responses to you is their problem, not your problem, when you're coming from a place of being nice, kind, compassionate, and empathetic.
Mm-hmm.
And they're just going to have to live with their miserable lives, and we'll try to make ours the best we always can. It's kind of the whole point of Hardly Working, and especially Hardly Working Through It. It's about taking that baggage that those people have handed you, unpacking it, and leaving it where it is, because you don't have to carry that for the rest of your life.
That's right.
Anything else before we wrap up our 100th episode?
I can't believe we made it.
We got a couple of
made it.
housekeeping things. Just a reminder, Hardly Holidays 2024 is coming up here in just about a week. If you weren't with us last year and you're like, what the heck is that? That is when you get a daily dose of Hardly Working.
Every other day.
Actually, it's every day.
Oh.
For 10 days between Christmas and New Year's, you'll have shorter episodes, 20 to 30-minute episodes. We'll be breaking down list of the years, things like the wildest, wackiest, weirdest things that happened in 2024, things that I guarantee you probably forgot about. We'll talk about the celebrities who we've loved and lost this year. We'll talk about the most Googled things and people of the year. Also, every other day, we'll be playing different Christmas-themed games that you can play along with us at home, whether you're watching or listening. It's going to be a good time. And as always, we will be wrapping up Hardly Holidays with our world-famous Top Knots, where we not only go and take a brief look back at 2023 and our top knots from that year, things that were our tops and bottoms of our list of things that happened, but we will be walking through with you our top and bottom 10 moments in our lives with you. And if you want to do that, you can check it out on It's Hardly Working on Instagram. There's a link in the bio if you want to get a little PDF so you can follow along or do it yourself. You can be a part of that. But lots and lots of good stuff coming from us before the new year. And I won't even say Happy New Year because you're going to see us so much and hear us
be so annoyed with us.
You'll be so annoyed. But you can put a little AirPod in and just let it play while you're in the places and spaces you don't want to be, because you'll always have some friends and some buddies with you as long as you keep listening
to Kellie and SP.
On Hardly Working.
Sorry, it was a good rhyme.
I know. I was like, I should have let her do it. That's the story of our show. That's how it goes.
It goes.
Coulda, woulda, shoulda.
Well, doesn't matter. Anyways, thanks for showing up here and listening to us for our 100th episode and for sticking with us around. Or if you're joining us, thanks for joining us and being here. Hope you go back and listen to some of our old stuff. And we hope that you have a great holiday. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. You'll hear from us soon, but just in case you don't, we hope you stay happy, healthy, kind, and humble. And we hope that you spend most of your time hardly working.
Bye.